Over 8chan, I'm seeing. Hopefully everything's a go right now. Yep, audio's up. Okay, so all over 8chan right now, I'm seeing that during the Cpac speech that Trump is has confirmed Q. There was like some type of confirmation made or request granted that he did exactly what basically what Q said he would say or something like that. I don't know the exact. Maybe someone could help me out exactly how he has anons have the originals. How is that possible? To six, to eight. This is the last one. Although he does say this almost like word for word. But I mean that this is from his Twitter. I mean anybody could. I mean I guess you could make an educated guess. I mean, it would still be a long shot, but I wouldn't see it as a confirmation if he happened to say what he just said on Twitter. So what we're gonna do is we're actually gonna pull this up and watch his speech because I want to hear from you guys if you guys are hearing anything or if there's something I'm missing because I just don't see it. It's all over 8chan. I was going to bring you to 8chan and then I realized the filth on there that'll get me a copyright strike and all kinds of strikes. Oh wait, I'm not on Chrome. Okay, so so let's see. You guys let me know what you think. I'm just gonna have to pause it here and there. So I'm gonna get right to the speech. Let's go.
What we've done together has never been done in the history, maybe of beyond our country. Maybe in the history of the world.
Sorry, I have to pause it.
The valleys and the cities, they came
every
from all over.
20, 25
and what
seconds.
we did in 2016,
I'll try to do it after sentences. I'll let you listen.
It's never been done before, and we're going to do it, I think, again in 2020.
I agree.
So you have 17 Republicans.
17. I mean, that's a fact. Things like that do add up. With 17 being the Q being the 17th letter in the alphabet. I mean, I'm sure they're saying that might be one. But there really were 17 other Republicans, so I don't know. I'd like to actually fact check that and see if it really is or if we skewed the number, because that would make me think more of it. But I don't think that's the big thing they're talking about. Just one other little thing they would be talking about.
think now with what we've done with the judiciary and so many other things, I think they get it very well. And it's driving the other side crazy. Remember how many times we heard for months and months, there is no way to do 70. You know that means. There is no way to do 70. They couldn't get it. We might as well have just given up. But there wasn't any way to do 70. In fact, I actually went up to Maine to get one, and I did win the one.
Believe it or not, I think if he campaigned in Massachusetts, he could have won. You'd be surprised how many Trump supporters are here in Massachusetts. Sorry, I feel like I'm doing commentary. I just have to pause every so often or I'll get a copyright strike.
Nebraska, we won both in Nebraska. We won the half, we had to win in Maine, so we got the one, but we didn't need the one because we didn't get 270, we got 360. State called Wisconsin, state called Michigan, where Fiat Chrysler just announced the $4.5 billion expansion plan, doubling their many car companies have moved back to Michigan and are continuing to sell. Big numbers, nobody ever thought they'd see that happen. So I think we're going to do even better in 2020. I think we're going to do numbers that
I think he has 100% chance winning. I don't think that there's any way he's going to lose in 2020. I mean, now that even before his popularity numbers went up past 50%, I thought there was no way he would lose. He just has too many. He's done too many good things. He's fulfilling every promise. I mean, I think he should have got to the wall earlier than he did when he actually had control of the House as well. But, you know, he's still doing it. I mean, and he's putting up a hell of a fight. They're putting up a hell of a fight, but in the end, they know he's going to win.
on the front lines of protecting America's interests, defending America's value, and reclaiming our nation's priceless heritage.
I'll put the mic actually closer.
We are reversing decades of blunders and betrayals. Serious betrayals to our nation and to everything we stand for. It's been done by the failed ruling class that enriched foreign countries at our expense. It wasn't America first. In many cases, it was America last. Those days are over, long over.
Like I said last night, one of the only downsides to that is, you know, we do see a lot more conflicts popping up around the world, but I'd rather see us as America be taken care of, our military be taken care of, built up. I mean, we needed it. Common sense.
America is winning again. America is respected again. And the world knows. When I meet with prime ministers, when I meet with presidents, and I get along with that, because they know that what's taken place over many years, not just the Obama administration, long before that, can't believe themselves that they got away with it. They can't believe it. An impossible thing. And they like me. And the reason they like me, they tell me, they say, Mr. President, I said as an example, President Xi of China have great respect for great relations. I said, how is it possible that you got away with this for so long?
And by the way, Trump kind of lets loose in this. I think that's kind of usually how it is. It's a little more of a loose speech, but I mean, he's up there swearing. I mean, he's in rare form. And this is why I love this speech. And then, I want to see what's this Q business. I didn't understand it. Maybe someone out there can help me understand.
And he said, because nobody ever has to change. When they charge 40% tariffs on our cars going into China, and we charge them nothing coming into our country, when they raise their tariff from 10% to 25% and then to 40%, and they said to me, we expected that somebody would call and say, you can't do that. Nobody called, so we just left it. And I don't blame them. We should have been doing the same thing to them. But we didn't. But now things are different. Now we're negotiating with China. They wouldn't negotiate with previous administrations. But I found some very old laws from when our country was rich, really rich. The old tariff laws, we had to dust them off. You could hardly see them. Unfortunately, they weren't terminated.
Sorry about that. Just making sure we're still live.
We started getting politically correct even back then. But I said, when we were doing the great things, what happened to those laws? And I checked, and I found 301 and 382. I found one 1938, where we can do what we have to do. But you know, they had a debate, and it was really a rough time in our country because we had so much money we didn't know what the hell to do with it. It was called the Great Tariff Debate. Mark Levin will look this up.
Now, here's one thing I saw on 8chan. They were talking about the Mark Levin connection. So I guess there's been some mention of Mark Levin, and I think that whatever he's about to say now is part of it, or at least a piece of a part of it.
The problem is, if I make a little mistake, he'll let us know on Sunday night. And I'm very careful when I talk about this. Well, it was the great tariff debate of 1880. And the debate was, we didn't know what to do with all the money we were making. We were so rich. And Kinley, prior to being president, he was very strong on protecting our assets, protecting our country. And he made statements that others cannot come into our country and steal our wealth and steal our jobs and build their country and not defend our country. We can't do that. We can't never allow that to happen.
didn't catch that the first time. Like a whole group of women playing that out. They waited for the perfect time, and that was kind of pretty.
No, maybe not. You know, I'm totally off script, right? Thank you, darling. You know, I'm totally off script right now. And this is how I got elected, by being off script.
I've never seen a more off script than this speech. So.
Our country's in big trouble, folks, because we have to get it back. And when I look at what's happening on the other side, I encourage
Q people will tell you that was a Q sign. It
you. I say, no, I think the new Green Deal, or whatever the hell they call it, the Green New Deal, right? Green New Deal. I encourage it. I think it's really something that they should promote. They should work hard on. It's something our country needs. Desperately, they have to go out and get it. But I'll take the other side of that argument only because I'm mandated to. I'm mandated, but they should stay with that argument, never change. No planes, no energy. When the wind stops blowing, that's the end of your electric.
That was a good one. You know what? I don't think someone wrote that for him. I really think he just like comes up with this stuff. That was hilarious.
So the great tariff debate of 1888, and then we had so much money, we could do whatever we want. We built forces up that were incredible. Then in 1913, they ended tariffs. They ended tariffs. Nobody got stupid. And they ended tariffs. They said, oh, it's okay for other nations to come in. I won't use a certain word because everybody knows the word I love to use. Should I use it? I won't do it. Our great first lady always said, don't use certain words, please. I said, but the audience wanted me to do it. She said, don't do it. They won't put the little preamble that we just went through. They'll just use the word and they'll say, isn't that terrible? So, I learned, because with the fake news, if you tell a joke, if you're sarcastic, if you're having fun with the audience, if you're on live television, with millions of people and 25,000 people in an arena. And if you say something like, Russia, please, if you can, get us Hillary Clinton Cpac.
He's been waiting to say this type of stuff. Now that he's exonerated, he's been waiting to say this stuff. Oh.
Russia to condemn the US.
He's right. I'm happy for him though. All that he had to go through, his whole family. You know what they're willing to do to a president, all based on a fake dossier. I mean that's what really got the Q thing off the ground. I think is because there's a lot of truth behind the dirty politics, and they did things that they should be in jail for. Who knows? We'll see. Who knows? Come on. Sorry about that.
I'm watching, and they're talking about one of the posts. He asked Russia for the email. These people are sick, and I'm telling you, they know the game.
And I'll tell you right now, because I've always followed Q because I find it fascinating, and although deep down I feel like it's AI. I'm a patriot, and I would love if it was real. I mean, it's just one of those things. Just seems too good to be true, type of thing. But that's one of Q's famous catchphrases. These people are sick. I mean, that was not just said for no reason. I mean, I didn't catch that before. That's a Q proof to me. That's a big one. Wow. Because he always says that. These people are sick. These people are sick. That's how he'll end it. It won't be a question. He'll say these people are sick.
They know the game, and they play it dirtier than anybody's ever played the game. Dirtier than it's ever been played. But the thing that we've done is very special because on trade and because of the tariffs, and I know there are people in the Republican Party and people really even conservatives, good conservatives, they don't like tariffs. I'm not liking or not liking. The minimum, the greatest negotiating tool in the history of our country. Do you think China would be sending their top representatives over? Right now, China's paying 25% tariff on $50 billion worth of technology goods. I was then going to charge them 25% on $200 billion, not like 200 million, that's a lot, this is 200 with a B billion, 200 billion. So, but I was nice because we're having a very strong negotiation. Which, if it weren't for tariffs, and I tell this to President Xi, this is nothing to hide, I would never be talking like this because in theory, it could hurt your negotiating position, but in my case, it can't, because it's true. I was nice, and I left it at 10% on 200 billion, and here's the beauty. We've lost so much money with China, $500 billion a year. And our trade is such a disaster. It's $507 billion a year. China is one country. We lose with everybody almost. China is one country. $507 billion for many years. So the beauty is this. I have $250 billion more to put tariffs on. The numbers are staggering. Billions of dollars right now are pouring into our treasury. And for those of you that haven't done the research, if you look of the 25%, our country, as it's turned out, because it's now been on there for a long while,
Sorry, I have to.
and I'm in no rush because I'm fine with it. I'm fine with it. Of the 25 points, we've paid for 4 points, and China's paid for 21 points. Okay, 21. That's what the numbers are. Very simple. Everyone said, oh, it's a tax on our. It's not really. And what China and other countries do sometimes is they will subsidize it. So the tax really is incredible. But what it is beyond everything else, I can negotiate. But then you have senators and a few congressmen, but not Mark Meadows. Where's the great Mark Meadows?
Mark Meadows, he is great. Pretty sure he is North Carolina. So North Carolina, good job. Or South Carolina. One of the two, I believe. Or is it Georgia? I'm pretty sure it's one of the Carolinas. Anyways, I like him a lot.
Mark, Jim Jordan. I want to name every one of those couple of hundred people because we do have a lot. I want to name every damn one of them. They have been incredible. They have been fighting. And I just see Mark in the audience. They've been fighting with Deb. Much more important, his wife is incredible. What an asset. He would be nowhere without her.
Didn't sound. I don't think he meant it to call it.
But they fight so hard on this witch hunt, this phony deal that they put together.
Mike.
There's no collusion. So now they go and morph into, let's inspect every deal he's ever done. We're going to go into his finances. We're going to check his deals. We're going to check. These people are sick. I saw a little shifty shift yesterday. It's the first time we went into a meeting.
There it was again, by the way. These people are sick. It's at a very, oh man. I'm hoping this is going through.
And he said, we're going to look into his finance. I said, where did that come from? He always talked about Russia. Collusion with Russia. The collusion delusion. So now we're waiting for a report, and we'll find out whether or not, and who we're dealing with. We'll wait.
Again, sorry.
Waiting for a report by people that weren't elected. We had to do this. We had the greatest election. In all fairness, I used to hear Andrew Jackson. This was now greater than the election of Andrew Jackson. People say, no, people say, I'm not saying it. This was the equivalent of Reagan. You know, they used to go to Ronald Reagan when I first thought, this is Ronald Reagan. Then we started really doing well, and they were coming from everywhere to vote. Those red hats and white ones. The key is in the color. The key is what it says, make America great again. But we had the greatest. And unfortunately, we put the wrong people in a couple of positions. And they leave people for a long time that shouldn't be there. And all of a sudden, they're trying to take you out with bullshit. Never received a vote, and neither did the person that appointed him. And as you know, the Attorney General says, I'm going to recuse myself. And I said, why the hell didn't he tell me that before I put him in? And he recused himself. But the person that appointed Robert Mueller never received a vote. Robert Mueller put 13 of the angriest Democrats in the history of our country on the commission. Now, how do you do that? These are angry, angry people. You take a look at them. One of them was involved with the Hillary Clinton Foundation, running it. Another one has perhaps the worst reputation of any human being I've ever seen. All killers. In fact, it would have been actually better for them if they put half and half, and Mueller can do whatever he wants anyway, which he'll probably do. But we have conflicts, I had a nasty business transaction with Robert Mueller a number of years ago. I said, why isn't that mentioned? He wanted the job as FBI director. I mean, these are things that are out there, they know. Why isn't that? And
Sorry
I
about
give it
that.
to,
Hope
why
you're
isn't
okay.
that?
My mother's here picking up my baby, and she's been hanging out this morning.
Jim Comey, lying James Comey, is his best friend. James Comey is his best friend. And those are a few of the conflicts. Other than that, it's wonderful. So everybody's waiting. I thought of it this morning, Mark, and I heard you made an incredible speech and statement today, Mark Levin. I heard it. And I was on the way, but I'll see it later. I guarantee I'll be watching it later. I have one of the great inventions in history. It's called TiVo. I think it's actually better than television because television is practically useless without TiVo. But I'll be watching it later. But people that got no votes, what I heard this morning, President Trump is waiting for the Mueller report. I said, wait a minute. So the Attorney General recuses himself, and I don't fire him. No obstruction. That's the other thing. If you use your rights, you use your power. If you use Article 2, it's called obstruction, but only for Trump, for nobody else. So the Attorney General is weak and ineffective, and he doesn't do what he should have done. Somebody that never got a vote writes a powerful letter, horrible, about Comey. Every single Democrat said Comey should be fired, or worse if possible. Every Republican said everybody, in fact, when I fired Comey, I said, you know, First Lady, I said, Melania, I'm doing something today. I'm doing it because it really has to be done. He's bad. He's a bad guy. That's been proven now with all of the emails and the texts. I'm doing something that has to be done. But you know the good news? It's going to be bipartisan. It's going to be so popular. It's going to be bipartisan. Every Democrat hates him. Every Republican hates him. He did a horrible job at the FBI. Speak to the real agents, the real people, because the people in the FBI are incredible people, not the sleeves sometimes. And I said to the First Lady, I said, but you know the good news? The good news is that this is going to be so bipartisan, everyone's going to love it. So we fired Comey, and Schumer, who called for his resignation many times, Podesta, I believe that day, because he still hasn't gotten over getting his ass kicked. I believe that day called for his resignation. That day, Podesta, the great.
So we've already heard him call something bullshit, talking about people getting their ass kicked. I mean, I just never heard him like this.
Genius of campaigns. He called for the Comey resignation. Others, almost every, I would say, Mark, would you say virtually every Democrat, virtually every, I can't think of anybody that said he's doing a good job. So I said to Melania, the good news is this will be a popular thing. And I fire a bad cop, I fire a dirty cop, and all of a sudden the Democrats say, how dare he fire him?
So true.
How dare he do this? And that's where we are, folks. That's where we are. We're in this swamp. of Washington, D.C. But you know what? We're winning, and they're not. So just to finish, I'll tell you, Max Lab is lovely. He's saying this is a lot more than we paid for. You know, normally you read a few pages and you say, bye, folks. But you know what I like about this? Number one, I'm in love, and you're in love. We're all in love together. We've done something. You know, a great friend of mine from New York. He's a stone cold killer. He's a brutal man. He's actually not even a good friend of mine because he can turn on me in 2 seconds. But he's a very rich guy. And he said, what are you going to speak about today? Like, what are you going to speak? I said, I just heard that you have the biggest crowd in the history of Cpac. They're all over. By the way, not only this giant room, they're in many hotel rooms all over the place. You're just better at real estate than they are.
In rare form.
But this guy, you all know his name, very rich guy, and he has a problem with a thing called public speaking. If he has to speak to more than like 5 people, he chokes. Can't breathe, you know. Oh, are you okay? He kills people for a living, meaning mentally and financially. But if there's like an audience of 9, it's like. So he said to me,
I love it. I love that. Mentally and financially, because that's what they do to you.
how the hell do you do that? And I said, it's easy. And the reason it's easy, I really mean this. There's so much love in this room. It's easy to talk. You can talk. It's easy. It's easy. It's easy. We've had that from the day I came down with your first lady on the escalator in Trump Tower. It's been easy. And you know what? We never had an empty seat. We went out and helped Ted Cruz. We went out and helped so many people. And I'll tell you what. If we didn't do those 32 rallies, it wasn't easy. When you're doing rallies with 25, 30,000 people, in Texas, we had 109,000 people sign up. We used the Houston Rockets Arena. It holds 22,000. Tens of thousands were outside. We were sending notices, please don't come. That's a little different. Usually people are begging, well, yeah, like, can somebody come? We never had.
Hope you guys are hearing this, all right? I try to put the mic right at the speaker. I got this microphone I bought. I also bought a mixer. I haven't gotten that yet, but.
An empty seat. Of course, the Washington Post, a guy named David Weigel, he wrote an article. Some arena. Now listen to this. He wrote an article. He got there 4 hours early. He took pictures of an empty arena. He then put out a note, something to the effect, not very good crowd size, Mr. President. And I never saw it because I don't follow the guy. But thousands of people that were in that arena that was packed with 25,000 people outside that couldn't get in. He got there 4 or 5 hours early because he doesn't fly private, you know. And maybe it's because of the carbon footprint. You think maybe it's must be the carbon footprint. He just doesn't want private. But he got there hours early, and you know the place hadn't started taking. needed people. They weren't going to take them in. So there were virtually nobody. And you know, whatever it was, 18,000, when you have nobody, it's a little scary looking. So he took pictures. And you know who really got even? Our people. Because they were incensed. We had people sitting on the stairwells. We had people sitting in every seat. I don't think we've had an empty seat since we announced it. And from the day we came down the escalator, I really don't believe we've had an empty seat at any arena, at any stadium. It's been an incredible thing. And that's why I say this has never, ever happened before. And now we have to verify it in 2020 with an even bigger.
We will.
And by the way, just to finish that story, the great Sarah Huck and Mercedes, who is incredible, sitting Mercedes. They always say, you know, they're good people. Much better than I am. They always say, don't bring it up, don't fight. Don't fight. Everyone understands. I said, they don't understand. If I don't explain it, how are they going to understand? So remember the empty arena. And then it was shown, and the Washington Post had to do, and this particular writer had to do I thought he was going to get fired. I mean, if that were a conservative, he would have been fired on the spot. He would have been humiliated for what he did, because it was fake news. Nobody was in the arena. There were thousands outside, but they hadn't opened the gates yet. They did the same thing at our big inauguration speech. You take a look at those crowds, and I watched one of the evening shows that are ridiculous, how horrible they are, how mean, how horrible. And I watched it by mistake. Then they showed from the White House all the way down. They showed from the cap. They showed there were people nobody's ever seen it. The Capitol down to the Washington Monument. People, but I saw pictures that there were no people. Those pictures were taken hours before, right? And they always mention crowd size. He talks about crowd size. So I'm constantly bugging Mercedes whenever we have a slow moment. I say, Mercedes and Sarah, show them the pictures. Show them and compare them with what they put on television. Those pictures were taken hours before. And remember this also, not that Obama would ever do this, but we had fencing all the way down to the Washington Monument. And it was raining. And it was wet. And the grass was wet. And women and men. And I consider them totally equal, so I'm not going to say it's hard. In fact, it's probably, with the men I know, it's actually easier for the women to make the walk, right? They had to walk all.
They'll be writing that well. They'll be writing about that.
All the way down. They had to walk with high heels in many cases. They had to walk all the way down to the Washington Monument and then back. And I looked and I made a speech and I said before I got on, I said to the people that were sitting next to me, I've never seen anything like this. Look at that crowd. And it was wide. Wide. We had a crowd, I've never seen anything like it. And I have to live with crowd size. It's all a phony deal, folks. But I saw a picture just the other night of practically no people. It was taken hours before our great day. That was a great day for us. That was a great, great day. People came from So Sarah said, and Mercedes said, sir, it doesn't matter, nobody cares. I said, but I care. People care. People care. So what I'm going to do is I'll give it to the great one. I'll give it to Mark Levin. And I'll give him the picture. Then I'll show you where they showed just the other day an empty field, like nobody on it. And you'll see the sun, you know, you can see it's very dark because the sun's like starting to rise. And you can have some fun. You're going to get big ratings in your show, I'll tell you that. Sunday night, everybody. Sunday night. 10 o'clock. Right? Sunday night at 10 o'clock. I knew that. All right, now let's get back into what I'm here for. And don't fall asleep. Don't fall asleep, right? Don't fall asleep. You know, somebody said, oh, the speech you made, sir, the State of the Union speech was incredible. I said that was so good. And I said,
Sorry if you just lost audio.
I did. I got great reviews even from some of the really bad ones out there. Of course, by the following morning, they had to change because the head people called them, what are you doing? A lot of it's not the people on television. A lot of it's their bosses. Which someday we're going to have to figure out why Meadows, why that is. Because, you know, if you're building a great country, you have the best employment and unemployment numbers we've ever had. More people are working today in the United States than ever before in the history of our country. And you say, why are they upset by that? Why? Why are they upset? We've slashed 30,000 pages of job-killing regulations from the Federal Register. That's an all-time record in the history of the United States, even by presidents in there for 8 years and in one case more. We passed the largest package of tax cuts and reforms in American history. And we got rid of the individual mandate, which is a big deal.
There's actually a court case about that. And I think that they're going to win the court case in the sense that, you know, they're suing because they should have never had to pay all that money.
Which should lead to the ending of the disaster known as Obamacare. The great state of Texas has a case, and it was literally based on the individual mandate. Now that it's gone, I don't know how they rule against it. Now we'll have to find out. But that'll soon be up with the Supreme Court of the United States, I hope. And we're going to see what happens. And then we're going to get together with the Democrats and come up with really great health care. Really great health care.
Hope so. That's the most difficult of all things. I think that's definitely the most difficult thing. How do you take care of everybody yet not force it upon people to have to pay for it? I mean, I don't know how you do that.
And one of the other things we did in our tax package is ANWR, perhaps the largest field in the world, oil and gas. I got it approved. And I didn't want to get it approved for a certain reason, because I thought somebody treated me very badly. Very badly. Don't get that over. And I said, you know, I don't want it. Then I get a call from a friend of mine. And he's in the oil business. He's not asking for anything, but he really is a knowledgeable guy when it comes to oil and gas. He said to me, hey, and they all call me Mr. President. I have friends that for 35 years, hey, Don, how you doing? Hey, Donnie, I love you, Donnie. For 35 years, now they call. Mr. President, sir. How are you? I have a friend, very rich. Richard Lefrak in New York, builder, good builder. He calls me all my life. Hey, Don, how you doing? I've known this guy so long. From kindergarten. It's true. Hi, Don, how you doing? How's everything? Now, I got a call the other day. Mr. President, how are you, sir? How are you? I said, Richard, lay down. Call me Donald. Richard, call me Donald. You've known me for, I don't want to say because I don't want my wife to hear the number. It's true. Actually, that's actually true. Richard came up. He said, I've known your husband for 65 years. I said, don't say it. I said, say 20, 25, 30. Don't say 65 years.
That's funny. And you know he means that too. He's like telling the truth. He probably really did think that. That's funny.
But I said, Richard.
It sounds good.
Call me Donald, like you always do. Call me Don. Okay, Don. Okay. He gets his breath. 2 minutes later, Mr. President. But maybe that's a good thing. That's called respect for the office. Maybe and that wasn't in the script.
And when I say that, I don't mean it sounds bad to be 65 or over. I'm just saying. I think you know what I mean. He's a very lucky man. Let's just say that. She's young and a lot younger, and she's very beautiful. So.
I don't know. But we're renegotiating right now horrible trade deals that we're cracking down, and we are really doing a number, cracking down on countries that cheat and standing up for the American worker for the first time in many, many decades. Many decades. Our workers have been treated horribly. A country announces they're closing their plant in Michigan or Pennsylvania or Ohio. They're closing. They're closing a plant. They're going to move to Mexico. They're going to move to China. They're going to move someplace else. They fire all their workers. And then they sell their cars. No tax. Just make them in Mexico, sell them back to here. No tax, no nothing. Those days are all gone, folks. They're all gone. It's very, very hard, prohibitively hard, for a company to fire its 4,000 workers and move to Mexico or some other location. It's now a very costly. They can do it, I guess, if they want, but it's costly. It's painful. It used to be almost, I've been talking about this for a long time. I used to say it's almost like we're giving them an incentive to leave our country. Again, I'm for America first. That wasn't for America first. And we have great companies that are now moving back to our country. They're coming back in. They're coming back in. And by the way, you know I'm building the wall. We're finishing the wall. We got a lot of money. And there'll be some people in the room that don't like this. We're down to 3.7% unemployment, the lowest number in a long time. But think of this. Look at all these companies moving in. They need workers. We have to bring people into our country to work in these great plants that are opening up all over the place. This was not necessarily what I was saying during the campaign, because I never knew we would be as successful as we've been. Companies are roaring back into our country, and now we want people to come in. We need workers to come in, but they've got to come in legally, and they've got to come in through merit. They've got to come in through merit. They have to be people that can help us. They have to be people that can love our country, not hate our country. We have people in Congress, right now, we have people in Congress that hate our country. And you know that. And we can name every one of them if they want. They hate our country. Sad. It's very sad. When I see some of the things being made, the statements being made, it's very.
And guys, by the way, I can finally see the chat. So if you guys can just let me know how the audio's been, I'd appreciate it.
Very sad. And find out, how did they do in their country? Just ask them, how did they do? Did they do well? Were they succeeding? Just ask that question. Somebody would say, oh, that's terrible that he brings that up, but that's okay. I don't mind. I'll bring it up. How did they do in their country? Not so good. Not so good. But we need workers. We have to bring in workers. One other thing, because we have a lot of people here that are important people in terms of votes. We have some senators, we have some congressmen. When a senator tells us that he's a free trader, so am I. I'm a fair trader, I'm a free trader. But when a senator said we can't do tariffs where we make a fortune, or at a minimum, we're able to use this tremendous power that I found. Tremendous, old stuff, nobody even knew it existed. I'm able to use it. At a minimum, to negotiate great and fair trade. They wouldn't even be talking to us because it's so one-sided. Last year we lost 800, this is for many years, almost $800 billion on trade. It's not sustainable. You can't do that. And now we're making great trade deals. But when some of the senators, good people, I think they're good people, I just don't understand the thinking. So I say India is a.
And afterwards, if you guys want to do a live chat, I'm up for it. So just a quick one, a couple things we can go over, but just I haven't been able to see like how many likes, how many people are watching, but if anyone could hit the like button, share, anything you could do, so that way when we do go live, if anyone wants to call in and has anything interesting, they have the opportunity to.
It's a very high tariff nation. They charge us a lot. When we send a motorcycle to India, it's 100% tariff. They charge 100%. When India sends a motorcycle to us, we brilliantly charge them nothing. So I want a reciprocal tax, or at least I want to charge a tax. It's called a mirror tax, but it's a reciprocal. Now here's what I've had a lot of people, Lindsey Graham, I said, Lindsey, it's not his thing necessarily. It's not the thing that he's most adept at, but he's adept and he's smart. I said, Lindsey, if they charge us 100, I like a reciprocal. They charge us, we charge them. He goes, that makes sense to me. And then he gets on to judiciary and things that frankly he likes.
I was thinking the same thing, boys.
It's very interesting, but he's a smart guy, and he said, I'll never forget. It took me about a minute, which is a long time. I did a bad description. So they charge 100, we charge nothing. Now we have reciprocal, so it's 100. But what happens now, for those that really think about tariffs and don't like tariffs for whatever reason it might be, and that's okay. What's going to happen is, in many cases, instead of 100 and 100, you're going to have 0 and 0, so you won't have any tariff. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. But you have to start working on some of the senators that say, I can't approve this deal. I say, you know what, I want to just charge India, as an example, I'm using it, but India is a very high tariff nation. I mean, nobody knows it because nobody knows what they're doing in Washington. But India is a very, very high tariff, and they charge tremendous numbers. So they charge 100, so I say, I'm not going to charge 100, but I'm going to charge 25%. And I hear this turmoil in the Senate because we're charging 25. So I call a couple of the guys up. I say, fellas, listen, they're charging us 100 for the exact same product. I want to charge them 25, and I feel so foolish charging 25 because it should be 100. But I'm doing 25 only because of you. I want to get your support. Sir, that's not free trade. Where do these people come from? Where do they?
And also, in case you guys are worried about me getting strikes, I'm not too worried about it. I'm not monetized, nothing. I don't have any of the, like the any of the money stuff on here. So, and plus, I'm doing what they said to do. You deposit every so often. That's all.
Where do they come from? I need your help. I need your help, the voters' help. Where do they come from? So it can only be one of 2 or 3 things. Number one, I know they're very smart people. I know they are. And I even like some of them. But they're smart. So we take that out of the equation. So and I know they don't have evil intentions. And the other thing could be, I guess, maybe, these companies are all owned by people. And these people are very generous. Campaign contributions, they're very, very generous people. Can that be possible? I don't think so. I hope not. Because we're talking about our country. We can't allow a country to charge us 100%. And we get nothing for the same exact product. For one thing, they don't respect us. They think we're stupido. They don't respect us. But let me tell you something. The world respects our country again. And America is now booming like never before. Other countries are doing very poorly. Other countries are doing very poorly. And that makes it even harder for us to be successful. Plus, we have a gentleman that likes raising interest rates. We have a gentleman that loves quantitative tightening in the Fed. We have a gentleman that likes a very strong dollar in the Fed. So with all of those things, and we want a strong dollar, but let's be reasonable, you understand. With all of that, we're doing great. Can you imagine if we left interest rates where they were? There's no inflation, essentially. There's no inflation. Can you imagine if we left interest rates where they were? If we didn't do quantitative tightening, taking money out of the market? If we didn't do quantitative tightening, and this would lead to a little bit lower dollar, a little bit. I want a strong dollar. But I want a dollar that's going to be great for our country. Not a dollar that's so strong that it is prohibitive for us to be dealing with other nations and taking their business. Since the election, we've created a number that I would have said during the campaign, the fake newsers back there would have said this is crazy. 5.3 million new jobs, including over now 600,000 beautiful, brand new manufacturing jobs that were never going to come back to our country. These are jobs that were never coming back. Remember? Not to talk badly about the other administration, but if that theory went forward with crooked Hillary winning the election, instead of being up almost 50% with the stock market, you would have been down 50%. It was heading down. It was going to be a disaster. We have nearly 5 million Americans that have been lifted off of food stamps. Nobody ever thought that was possible. The unemployment rate has reached the lowest in over 51 years. And African American, and you've heard me say this many times, Hispanic American, Asian American unemployment rates are at their all-time historic lows. And African American income has reached an all-time high. So when I'm on the debate stage with one of these maniacs, I mean, trains to Hawaii. How do you get to Europe? We haven't figured that one out yet. We don't use airplanes anymore. So what I'm doing in California, they have a fast train. The fast train goes from San Francisco to Los Angeles. It's over budget by hundreds of millions of dollars. So they have a great idea, the new governor, nice guy. Yes, nice guy. When I'm with him face to face, nice. When he speaks about me, not so nice, but face to face, he loves me. Called me up, he said, you're a great president, you're doing a great job. He actually didn't do his for 3 weeks, so he'll probably deny it, but check the phone records at the White House. Everybody else does. Call me up 3 or 4 weeks. I think they need some forest money because honestly, management of the forest is very bad, and it's one of the problems they have. I said, you got to get those forests. We can't keep sending billions and billions and losing hundreds of lives, more importantly. Got to clean it up. It's called management. When a tree falls, you can't let the environmentalists say you can't take that tree out. It becomes like a matchstick, that tree. It hits a flame, it goes up. The leaves, every once in a while, you have to remove the leaves because
That is true. I mean, that is why the forest fires are worse than ever. You know, they protect it to a point where they can't even touch the ones on the ground. And, you know, that's nature's way of kind of cleaning itself out. But when we interfere with that, it kind of happens in an unnatural way and sad things like, although I think paradise was something else, but you know, the other fires, you know, it's sad. People lose their homes and but paradise, that something else is going on there. I never seen lightning come from underground. But I'll stop. I keep interrupting, sorry.
hey, or a guy smoking a cigarette, he throws it away. He doesn't mean it. The thing catches on fire. Well, there's 400,000 acres and people are killed. You got to have management. But he called me up the other day, recently, let's say 4 weeks ago or so. I just want to tell you, you're a great president. and you're one of the smartest people I've ever met. That's what he said. Now, that's what he said. Will he admit it? No, I doubt it. But that's what he said. And you're doing a great job. And then he did start talking about, in all fairness, additional money for the fire, which is it's okay. That's okay. We have great talks. I mean, I like him. Gavin Newsom, I like him. Nice guy. But they say things, politicians, they say things to your face, and then you see 2 days later they're giving a news conference. It's like, where did that guy come from? Where did he come from? But everyone in this great country, right now, because of our great new economy, is doing well, except, of course, for the never-Trumpers. But they are on mouth-to-mouth resuscitation. Mouth-to-mouth. Mouth-to-mouth. They're hanging in there, a couple of them. I mean, these guys have gotten me wrong. Not only never-Trumpers, you have never-Trumpers, you have certain hardline. They're basically dishonest people, because look, let's face it. Whether you like me or not, if my name is Smith instead of Trump, and if you told them I put in over 100 federal judges, it'll soon be 145 federal judges and 2 Supreme Court, and 17 appellate divisions, that we've got the best economy maybe in our history.
And by the way, CJ, yeah, same with me. That was the biggest red flag to me. Don't 6-month prep. No, don't do it. You're like what? The national preparedness people, they said to do it. So why would he say not to do it? That blew my mind. I mean, and they're supposed to be military. No military guy would ever tell you not to prep. He might say, if it's between that and just kind of like taking care of your kids, and if you're poor and you need the basics, yeah, maybe you should take care of the basics first. But I never understood that one either.
We've got the best employment numbers and unemployment numbers in our history. That we've cut more regulations in 2 years than any president has ever done, whether it's 4, 8, or beyond. That we've taken care of our military with $1.7 billion.
And Kelly, I'm reading what you said. What did he say he was going to protect us? I don't know if you're really asking or if there's something. He did say, he has talked about this being really just a battle between good and evil. So I would say, if that's really what it is, and we really are entering the last days, whether it's this year, next year, this decade, then yes, that would be it would be Jesus. But your guns, I guess. I hope in places like Massachusetts, it's very difficult for a lot of people who have guns. And by the way, I love your name. If it's unless that's really your last name, I can't wait for that show. But again, sorry for interrupting.
Think of what we did. Think of what we did with our military. Think of the numbers that we have for our military. We have numbers, nobody's ever heard of these numbers before. And part of the problem that we have to sell a Coast Guard. But, and you are all Coast Guarders. But we have to take care of our military. We have to. $700 billion we spent. And that was the first year. And then the second year, $760 billion.
That is so much money. That is, and trust me, they don't just waste money the way that Congress does. The military, everything that they do is checked on. Is It seems like they spend a lot on training, but that's because you need to do that. Like that whole LA thing, if it even was, I mean, it was training at Long Beach, but what was going on in LA, that seemed like an operation to me. That's just too close. They wouldn't have the choppers that low in training, even if they want to make it as realistic as possible, but they're not going to go that low. That's danger close. They're not going to do that. That was an operation, I think, when they went in that video and walked out with the stuff. But it was really actually a lot of training in Long Beach. So, they're training for something, and they do spend a lot of money on that stuff, but they're very smart about how they spend it, and that's a lot of money each year. And to answer Amanda's question, um, yes, I am, but I have a little girl that I take care of. So, and also, I don't take money. I'm just trying to get truth out and all that. So you won't see anything monetized by me.
Now, I have no choice. I'd like to spend much less. Obama was spending much less, but our military was being depleted. He was fighting in endless wars, they never end. And by the way, as of probably today or tomorrow, we will actually have 100% of the caliphate in Syria. 100%. And we'll leave a small group of guys and gals, but we want to bring our people back home. We want to bring our people back home. This time, into these wars, we're going to be in Syria for 4 months. We ended up 5 years. Just fighting. They just like to fight. We want to fix our country. We want to fix our bridges, our highways, our roads, our schools. We want to fix our country. It's time. But I was told by a general who I had to fire, I said, General, how long before we get 100% of the caliphate? He said, sir, 2 years. I said,
I don't even know how to do the super chat, so it's all right, Amanda. I appreciate it though. It's just once people start taking money, they just, I don't know. It's not a bad thing. Everyone needs money, but that's not what I'm about. I don't feel like I'm putting out the quality worthy of that yet, and that's not really what I'm in it for. The only thing I could think of is PayPal, but that's all I have, and I don't even want to put that link out there yet. But anyways, I'm gonna stop interrupting you.
I can't take it 2 years. And then I flew to Iraq. First time I left the White House because I stayed in the White House for months and months because I wanted the Democrats to get back from their vacations from Hawaii and these other. And I figured it would look good if I stayed in the White House so that you people all love me and vote for me. Okay. I figured it would look good. So I stayed in the White House. And I'll tell you what, I was there. I told my wife, go to Florida, enjoy your Christmas. I stayed for Thanksgiving. I was.
Oh, sorry if the audio has been low. It's just I'm trying to have the microphone up so you guys can get as good an audio as possible. But I was just saying that somebody had asked about donating, and I'm not accepting any kind of donations. But I really appreciate it that you would even consider. I bought a mic. I bought a mixer. I mean, from there, I don't know. I'll try to figure it out, but I'm not gonna ask that, especially when the content is mediocre right now. And I will not, I'll stop interrupting.
The White House for a long time, months. I had cabin fever in the White House. But if you've got to have cabin fever, that's the place to do it. But I was there, I don't know, for a number of months. Through Christmas, I spent my New Year's all by myself. Don't cry. It was me and about 500 men and women outside with machine guns.
Which actually that brings me to the first time I called into my Fugle. I told him how a buddy of mine who was a Marine, he was still in, all he told me was White House, right? And this is literally around New Year's. And this is back, if you guys remember, everyone got the alerts. If you were in Massachusetts, instead of getting the FEMA alert, you got a MEMA alert. I guess that means Massachusetts instead of federal. So MEMA. And all he said to me, and I'm like, dude, give me something, because he's in the intelligence. And he just said, the White House. You wouldn't believe it. And then when all of a sudden, when a story came out that was supposedly discredited, that some Marines were planted and tried to take him out, they actually tried, the deep state tried to take out Trump, that I knew it was real. And it makes sense because I guess right after that, like you just said, there was like 500 Marines, and he keeps on bringing that up. He keeps bringing that up. He keeps on bringing up that one night when there was all those Marines, and it was Christmas, and he was in the White House alone. It's just the fact that he keeps bringing it up. What I heard. I mean, I thought it right then. I called in. If you guys go back to, if I mean, it'd be hard to tell. So I guess it would be the one um right after, right, like literally like New Year's Eve or something like that. But it was right around then. Oh no, it was actually right at, so like January 2nd it might have been. But that was the first time I called, and I told him that, and he keeps bringing it up. I really think that they try to take him out. They had a couple of their guys go in the Marines, young guys, who knows, maybe MK Ultra, and they try to take out our president. I firmly believe that. And I don't just believe anything.
I never saw so many beautiful looking machine guns. I'd look at that equipment, I'd say, man, they sit in the trees, they sit on the lawn. I told people, I'm in this massive, people don't know how big the White House is. First of all, it's one of the most beautiful places in the world. It's really, I made a lot of money with luxury. This building is $17.99, which of course, when President Xi comes, I say $17.99, like it's old. To him, that's like a brand new house. In China, they go back 8,000 years. So that's like a new residence. But I sat in the White House for months and months, except I took a day off. I flew to a lovely place called Cpac, and I flew at night, and I got there at night, and I said to myself, this is interesting, because they say, sir, all of the lights in the plane, sir, are going off. I say, why? Because we're getting ready to land. We're an hour out. I said, what about the shades? Well, we want it better than that, maybe like this. So we turned the lights on, put the shades down. This is a big 740 Air Force. And we're landing, and I go up and I look. And I've landed, I like to sit with pilots. I respect people that know what they're doing. And these are the best in the world. These are the best in the world. And the pilot says, sir, we're landing in approximately 1.5 minutes. I say, but there's no runway. No, sir, the runway's right up there. I say, I don't see it. I have a pretty good vision. At least for my age, I guess for my age, I have great vision, but I don't have vision like a 35-year-old captain. He said, no, it's right up there. I said, I'm sorry, Captain. How about this? Should we lift off and try to get Captain? There's no runway. Anyway, no, he said, right up there. Now we land. There's practically no lights. These are little pin spots. And I said, think of this. We spent $7 trillion in the Middle East, and we can't land a plane with the lights on. Years later, how bad is it? Now, seriously, how bad? How bad is it? $7 trillion, and we have to fly in with no lights. But I met some incredible people. Generals. One of them came from Syria, the operation in Syria. And I was upset with my generals because they weren't getting it finished. I want the job done. I want to bring our people back home. Not fair. And this is why so I met generals I didn't know. General 1, General 2, General 3. I mean, these generals, there's no person in Hollywood that could play the role. These guys are like perfect people. I said, what's your name? Sir, my name is Raisin. What the hell kind of a name? I said, Raisin, like the fruit? He goes, yes, sir, Raisin. What's your last name? Kane. Raisin Kane. Raisin Kane. I just made him a big star. Just like I did with Venice when I said, we're going to give you a new nickname. It's Chaos is not a good nickname. So we changed his name. Called him Mad Dog. But it wasn't working too well. Mad Dog wasn't working too well. So what happened is I flew to Iraq. I wanted to meet the people on the site because I learn more sometimes from soldiers, what's going on, than I do from generals. I do. I hate to say it. I tell that to the generals. But I didn't have to go there. Because I meet, and I land in this airport, the most incredible thing. We must have spent $3 billion building it. One of the reasons I don't want to leave Iraq so fast, I said, how do we leave this thing? So I have Raisin Kane, 3 other generals, colonels, sergeants, and I said, bring the cameras, I'm going to make a movie. This is the most incredible thing. And I said to the generals, listen, we got to get out. I want to know, why is it going to take 2 years to knock off 2 or 3 or 4%, which is what we have left? It won't, sir. I said, tell me why it won't. It won't, sir. If we attack them in a different manner, we can do it much faster. Okay, General Raisin Kane, how fast can, sir, we can have it totally finished in 1 week. I said, 1 week? I was told 2 years. 1 week? That's right, sir. We're only hitting them from a temporary base in Syria. But if you gave us permission, we could hit them from the back, from the side, from all over, from the base that you're right on right now, sir. They won't know what the hell hit them. They won't know what the hell hit them, sir. And I said, why didn't my other generals tell me that? Why didn't they tell me that? I said, did you tell them that? Not our place to say it, sir. They come in from Washington, sir. We have to take orders. You're the first one to ask us our opinion. True. So I went back and I said, I'm going to get back to you soon, Raisin. I think you're great. I like you, Raisin Kane. But I did say, I said, well, hey, listen, we're in Iraq. Isn't that very far away from, I was here in a very short time, sir. I flew right in. Of course, he's taking a plane that goes 2,000 miles an hour. But incredible. What you learn from being on the site. My father was a builder. He always used to say, Nobody ever got rich by sitting behind their desk.
Nice one to say, Amanda. I appreciate that a lot. I really do. Because it used to bother me a little bit. Like, I think all the callers do it. You go back and you look at live chat, and some of the stuff people were saying, it's just like, oh, if they only knew. So that's why before I called again, I made sure to send in all my information. So, with, so that he could vouch for me. And if I'll even do it on the channel, I'll put up my credentials, my clearance, all that. But if what you're expecting is like top secret information, I can't do that. I can't go to jail for the rest of my life and leave my baby behind with, her grandmother who will be around who knows how long. It's just me and my baby. That's it in the house. So my grandmother will come on the weekend. I mean, my mother will come on the weekend, her grandmother. And, she'll end up taking her overnight. And that way I get to have one night to myself. But, yeah, I mean, but what I can do is, have that perspective, looking at things. So, any current events going on, that's why there's a lot of things that a lot of people believe that I just don't. There's other things that people don't believe that I do. And it's just because I know some of the ins and outs and some of the red flags. But what I can't do is, give out um, how we gather information, the type of equipment, exact stories from when I was in. I can tell you stuff about. I talked to a buddy, and he said, the White House, and that was, like I said, right after Christmas. So things like that I can do, and when I look at the news, I can kind of some things will kind of you know stick out to me, and just to have those kind of goggles looking at everything, I can provide that perspective, and that's what I hope to do. But okay, back to it.
He's saying you got to be on this site, you got to be with the contractors, you got to see if they're ripping you off. You got to collect every nail that's dropped, every piece of wood, you can sell it. You got to be on the site.
I would cover up. I'd black out any social, any last name, middle name. You would just see my first name and all my credentials. I wouldn't dox myself, Khaleesi. Well, maybe for the Mother of Dragons, but no, not here. And that's a TV show that has nothing to do with the devil or anything like that.
You got to see while they're building, while they're under construction, is that wall straight or if it's crooked? And you have to fix it before they build it, not after they build it when you rip everything down. You don't get rich by sitting behind the desk, so I didn't want to do that. And I'm in the White House and I was lonely. I said, let's go to Iraq. And I had a hell of a meeting in Iraq. And I'll tell you, those generals, not just Raisin King, General King, those generals were great. They were great. They knew their stuff. They were gung-ho. And it is true. I mean, you talk central casting, these guys, you couldn't, I mean, it's incredible. They had a master sergeant that I could take him right now, bring him to Hollywood, make a military movie, and he's the star of the movie. That happened once before, that did happen. Remember? They brought a man in, a sergeant, a drill sergeant, to teach some actor how to be a drill sergeant. The drill sergeant was so incredible that he ended up starring in the movie, and he should have gotten the Academy Award, by the way. That's because Hollywood discriminates against our people. You know the movie I'm talking about, right? What was that movie? You know the movie. But while we're making great strides, and our country is doing as well, and maybe in many ways better than it's ever done before, Democrat lawmakers are now embracing socialism. They want to replace individual rights with total government domination. Just this week, more than 100 Democrats in Congress signed up for a socialist takeover of American health care. Their radical government-run plan, if you call it that, would lead to colossal tax increases like you've never seen before, and take away private coverage from over 180 million Americans. And we have some great private coverage, and we've initiated some incredible plans like the new cooperative plan, where you get better insurance than Obamacare for a fraction of the cost. But perhaps nothing is more extreme than the Democrats' plan to completely take over American energy and completely destroy America's economy through their new $100 trillion Green New Deal. Under the Green New Deal, which somebody described as a high school term paper written by a poor student. Who would believe it? It's so bad, but I'll be honest with you folks. I said, it's Saturday morning. I said, Matt, should we do a little more, like, spend time? He said, yeah, would you do that? By the way, everybody okay? Yeah. I know one thing. If Mark Levin gets up and leaves, I'll finish very quickly, because then
B-Man, by the way, I just want to tell you, I've actually seen that in a couple of different places. Yeah, absolutely right. It blew my mind when I saw it. Not just that, but the way that Manhattan was set up. It's very shady the way Manhattan was set up as well, and how much of a focal point the Twin Towers actually were um, before they were even built. It was just odd. But as far as the whole setup, it's all Masonic. Um, I mean that they don't hide that part, but it's the way like the pentagram, like the way the main roads. And I used to do. My father had a moving company, and we would go, to every city up and down the East Coast. The furthest we went as far as west was Texas, but I remember the way the streets were, and it's like there's only one way you can go, and when you line up all those streets and make the pentagram, and there's also a bunch of other stuff. Jonathan Clark made a pretty cool discovery about the Statue of Liberty. There's a lot of stuff out there. I mean, what we thought was is not. There are forces at play, and it is undeniable. It's just like it says in the Bible. It will be in those last days, like in the last generation, that basically these things would be clear to us. And they use the internet to track us and predict us, but you know it goes both ways. We can use it to gather, share information. So I mean, when talking about Q, that's one good thing that came out of Q. A lot of like baby boomers who normally didn't research things like this started researching. So if anything, at least that came out of Q.
But I haven't seen anyone leaving. Nobody's left. I watch those doors. Because a lot of times, well, one time the press said, people left. Yeah, you know where they went? To the bathroom, and then they showed 2 empty seats in a stadium of 19,000. They showed 2 empty seats. The people left right in front of me. And I said, oh man, maybe this is a good job I'm doing. Then they came back. They went to the bathroom. And a certain fake news deal showed a picture on the front page of these 2 empty seats. They said Trump had empty seats. We never have empty seats. The Green New Deal would completely abolish the American oil, natural gas, coal, and nuclear power industries, of which we're now the leader in the world. We're the biggest now in the world because of moves that have happened over the last 2 years, by the way. And we're trying to speed up pipelines in Texas, which would have taken 15 years. We think we're almost very close to getting them approved. When that happens, we'll go probably another 30 to 40%. We need pipeline approval. We're going to have it very quickly. It would have taken, it was going to be a 14 to 15-year process. We should have it done. We'll pick up 30 to 40%.
By the way, Khaleesi, if you didn't know the countdown to the show, it's 43 days, 4 hours, and 49 minutes.
Their plan would remove every gas-powered car from American roads. Oh, that's not so bad. They want you to have 1 car instead of 2. And it should be electric. Okay? So tell people no more cars. No more cars. I think the auto industry is not going to do too well in this. What do you think, Meadows? How's this? Will the auto industry be good? I don't think so. It's not looking good. I think maybe you're going to see some bad stock prices if that passes. It would end air travel. But you'll get on a train. Don't worry about it. You just have to cross up about 95% of the world. And it would force the destruction or renovation of virtually every...
That's where I saw it as well. Nicholson, 1968. I also saw some stuff on Enter the Stars, Reloaded. But originally the DC was Nicholson, 1968.
Existing structure in the United States. New York City would have to rip down buildings and rebuild them again. I don't think so. This is the craziest plan. And yet I see senators that are there for 20 years. White hair. See, I don't have white hair. I don't have white hair. No, I see these white hairs, long-time senators, standing behind this young woman. And she's ranting and raving like a lunatic. And these senators, yes, I agree with this. Yes, I agree. The crazy female senator from the state of Ohio. The state.
I think that it begins with G. She's the one who got Kavanaugh upset. And she asked about alcoholism, and he goes, well, what about you? Do you drink in the morning? And she ended up coming up with, of course, a big sob story about her father, and give me a break.
State of Hawaii, right? She's like a crazy person. What she said about men is so bad. What she said about men is so bad. But she's standing in the hallway. And she didn't know too much about the plan because she can't understand that plan. Which probably makes her smart, actually. Now, this is the senator from Hawaii, and they're saying to her, what do you think? Well, I don't know how people are going to get to Hawaii, but I'm in favor of the plan. I don't get Okay. So she's in favor of the plan, but you won't be able to get, well, we can take votes on this. We'll go back to votes. This is the new Democrat platform for the, and I don't want to talk them out of it. I don't, I swear. This is a killer. I gotta get off this subject. I want them to embrace this plan. I want them to go and sell this plan. I just want to be the Republican that runs against them tonight. I'm going to regret this. This speech should have been delivered 1 year from now, not now, damn it. Because they're going to grab together, they're going to say, you know, this guy's really laying for us. I should have saved the Pocahontas thing for another year. Because I've destroyed her political career and now I won't get a chance to run against her and I would have loved that. We got to, you know.
That's so true. That's true. He should have stayed. He really should have. That would have been an easy opponent. He could have buried her right before the election.
I don't want to knock out all of the good stuff and end up with somebody that's actually got talent. That would be... So I do like the Green New Deal. I respect it greatly. It should be part of the dialogue of the next election.
I'm telling you, he's in rare form today. I know these things are a little looser, but still, I think it's being just he feels just so free now that this whole Russia thing is over.
Tremendous promise and tremendous potential for the future of our country. Socialism is not about the environment. It's not about justice. It's not about virtue. Socialism is about only one thing. It's called power for the ruling class. That's what it is. Look at what's happening in Venezuela and so many other places. All of us are here today because we know that the future does not belong to those who believe in socialism. And I heard yesterday a great speech from our Vice President, Mike Pence, talking about this very subject and talking about it clearly. The future belongs to those who believe in freedom. I have said it before and I'll say it again. America will never be a socialist country. Young Americans, I love young Americans. Speaking of young Americans, Candace is getting married. You've been incredible. Thank you. Your whole group has been great. You're getting married. Seems like a nice guy to me. Congratulations. You've been so great. Thank you very much, guys. And Charlie, what a job you're doing. Where's Charlie? Where's Charlie? Where is Charlie? Because he has done an incredible job. Thank you very much. But young Americans like you are leading the revival of American liberty, sovereignty, and self-determination in the face of left-wing intolerance. The anger, the unbelievable anger, I see it every day. Fortunately for you, it's mostly pointed at me. You have the courage to speak the truth, to do what is right, and to fight for what you believe, and keep doing it. We reject oppressive speech codes, censorship, political correctness, and every other attempt by the hard left to stop people from challenging ridiculous and dangerous ideas. These ideas are dangerous. Instead, we believe in free speech, including online and including on campus. And by the way, there's a young gentleman with us today. There's a young gentleman. I turned on my television the other day, and I saw somebody that was violently punched in the face. Violently punched. And I said, that's disgusting. By a bully, I'd like to do a lot of things, but of course we were going to do that. Because if I ever said violence, they would say, don't talk, act. No. Just for the media, I'm sure he's a lovely young man. Just have a little time. I've been there before with those people. I don't want to do it again. So the man's name is Hayden Williams. Where's Hayden? Where is he? Where is he? Hayden, come up here, please. So, at the Leadership Institute, we're committed to making campuses great again. Thank you so much for bringing me up here to let me speak. It's great that I'm being recognized, and but there's so many conservative students across the country who are facing discrimination, harassment, and worse if they dare to speak up on campus. So I'm glad that we could bring this to the forefront. And I'd just like to say, if these socialist progressives had their way, they would put our Constitution through the paper shredder in a heartbeat. So it's as important now than ever to work at Leadership Institute and campus reform, exposing these liberal abuses to the public. It's as important now as ever. And these students do it because they have a love for our nation and freedom, and frankly, a love for you, Mr. President. So if you keep defending us, we'll keep defending you. Thank you. But I don't have to. But here's the one thing. I learned a number of things. First of all, he can take a punch. Muhammad Ali can take a punch. He can take a punch. But you weren't going to go down no matter how. That was a hell of a hard punch. It was a strong guy. But you know what? You've got yourself a great lawyer. I know your lawyer. She is a great lawyer. Just tell her to do me a favor. Sue him, but he's probably got nothing, but sue him forever. But sue the college, the university. Ladies and gentlemen, he took a hard punch in the face for all of us. Remember that. And we can never allow that to happen. And here is, in closing with him, here's the good news. He is going to be a very wealthy young man. That's all. Today I'm proud to announce that I will be very soon signing an executive order requiring colleges and universities to support free speech. If they want our dollars, and we give it to them by the billions, they've got to allow people like Hayden and many other great young people and old people to speak. If they don't, it will be very costly. Beside mercy. Every day we're restoring common sense and the timeless values that unite us all. We believe in the Constitution and the rule of law. We believe in the First Amendment right, and we believe in religious liberty. And we believe strongly in the Second Amendment and the right to keep and which is under siege, folks. They have a lot of plans. It's under siege. Be careful. But I'll protect you, I promise you. Because it all has to come through my office. And we hopefully are going to be here for 6 more years. We believe in the American dream, not in the socialist nightmare. And we believe in the words of our national motto, in God we trust. Every day of my presidency will defend American families. We will defend America's workers, our great, great cherished workers. And now we're taking care of them. They're not losing their jobs. We're creating those jobs. We're not letting those companies destroy their lives anymore. We will defend the American way of life, and we will always defend America's borders, because without borders, as I've said many times before, we don't have. When our southern border provides a lucrative cash flow to some of the most dangerous criminal organizations on the planet, Deadly cartels constantly, daily, hourly violate our borders to flood our cities with drugs that kill thousands and thousands of our citizens violently. What are these people talking about when they talk about the border? Keep it open. Keep what open? Have you been there? Have you seen? I just got back. I've been there many times. I see what's happening. I don't like it, but I have to tell you, our Border Patrol, our ICE agents, our law enforcement, the job they do, and they don't have the backup of a law in many cases. The job they do is incredible. These ruthless cartels terrorize innocent communities on both sides of the border and spread instability throughout our hemisphere. When I was there 2 weeks ago, 26 people were killed, very close to where I was, on the Rio Grande. Sounds nice, right? The Rio Grande. Rough stuff. 26 people were killed, and they were buried right near where I was standing. And the paper doesn't write about it, the news doesn't write about it. In the last 2 years alone, ICE officers made 266,000 arrests. Think of what that means. Think of that. Arrests. I'm not talking about people coming in. I'm talking, they went out and arrested 266,000 people who have criminal records, and in some cases for murder. Who the hell wants to do that? Thank God they're doing it, because I don't want to do it. It's dangerous, it's hard, but they love our country. And they're tough people, but they love our country. Including those charged or convicted of approximately 100,000 assaults, 30,000 sex crimes, 25,000 burglaries, 4,000 kidnappings, and 4,000 violent murders. These are people that ICE is going in and getting, and either putting in jail or ideally bringing them back to other countries and letting them put in jail, because we don't want them. We don't want to have to pay for them for 50 years. You want them to pay a price, but we don't want to have to pay for them for 50 years. And all the nonsense you hear about the people that come in illegally are far better than the people we have. It's not true, folks. It's false. It's false propaganda. One recent study from FAIR, F-A-I-R, found that illegal aliens are incarcerated at 3 times the rate of legal residents. Those are the numbers. And if you look at prison population in federal prisons, these federal prisons the number is staggering. The number of illegals, far, far, far greater than any proportion of our population. But you don't hear that. You hear like these people are the greatest people in the world. Just ask the angel moms, how good are they? Those great angel moms who are treated so badly, so badly. Incredible people. But the simple reality is that every crime committed by an illegal immigrant is a crime that should never have happened in the first place. The border crisis is also a heartbreaking humanitarian tragedy. Vicious coyotes, smugglers, and human traffickers prey upon innocent women and children. 1 in 3 women is sexually assaulted on the dangerous journey north. When I ran for president, my first speech, I mentioned the word rape. The press went after me. I couldn't believe it. I said, will it be like this always? The answer was yes. It even got worse. From day one, I mentioned the word rape. If you look at that speech, that was so innocent compared to what's really happening. That was a very innocent speech compared to the real facts. Illegal immigration is not compassionate. It's inhumane, unjust, and cruel. The media fights me on this, but I say it. Mothers who love their daughters, when the daughters are getting ready to make that 2,000-mile trek up through Mexico, and frankly, I wish Mexico would stop them at their northern border. I wish Mexico would stop them. Because, you know, they have a border. They call it their southern border. 2,000 miles down from our southern border. I wish Mexico would stop them. But they have their own difficulties, frankly. I understand that. We're working along well with them. And they are doing a lot of things to help us with asylum and other elements of what we're doing. But mothers who love their daughters give them massive amounts of birth control pills because they know their daughters are going to be raped on the way up to our southern border. Think of that. True story. Told to me by the Border Patrol. So true and so sad. Think of how evil that is. Think of how bad it is. Those caravans. You look at those caravans, and some are phenomenal people. But in those caravans, you have stone-cold killers. You had the interview done by some innocent person who I think is actually back there now. And what is it that you want asylum for? Why are you coming to America? Murder. She goes, what? Murder. I mean, what's going on is incredible. And when those caravans are formed, do you think those countries that we used to give a lot of money to, I've got to wait back. Guatemala, Honduras, El Salvador. You think they're giving us, as we say, their best and their finest? Oh, let's send our best people up to America. Let's have our best people go in the caravan so we can give America our greatest people. No, 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 no. They give us some very bad people. People with big, long crime records. People with tremendous violence in their past. Murderers, killers, drug dealers, human traffickers. They want to keep their good people because they're smart. It's so sad to see how stupid we've been. Border Patrol recently reported apprehending 7,000 unlawful migrants in a single week on just one part of the Texas border a couple of weeks ago. Our immigration system is stretched far beyond the breaking point. To confront this national security crisis, last month I declared a national emergency. And when I see these people, and they're good people, some senators, most, I tell you, the House has been fantastic. The House, the backing we've had from the House has really been, I'm talking about in the last short period of time. There's a lot of spirit in the House. And I think in the Senate too, but we're going to have to see because we have a vote coming up. And a lot of people talk about precedent. Precedent. That if we do this, the Democrats will use national emergency powers for something that we don't want. They're going to do that anyway, folks. The best way to stop that is to make sure that I win the election. Good people, the friends of mine. We're very concerned with setting precedent. That's precedent, not president. Precedent. We're very concerned about setting precedent. I'm very concerned with having murderers and drug traffickers and drugs and drug cartels pouring into our country. That's what I'm concerned about. And the Democrats They're going to do whatever they do if they get into power, and it won't have a damn thing to do with whether or not we approve.
This douchebag. Who's this clown? Who's this clown? But you just write it, you're just playing a video? And then you talk about how amazing it is.
Our national emergency, because let me tell you, they don't like it when I say it, but we are being invaded. We're being invaded by drugs, by people, by criminals, and we have to stop it. And we want people to come in, as I said before, but they have to come in legally and in America. Previous presidents have used their national emergency power to promote democratic elections in Belarus, to ensure political stability in Burundi, and to defend the sovereignty of Lebanon. And you know what? That's okay. Lebanon, it's good, fine. Use it. But we need it right here in our country. We have to use it for our country. Many emergency declarations have been used to protect people in faraway nations and distant lands. Now we are protecting, finally, our people, you, our people. And we are proudly standing with the heroes of ICE and Border Patrol and law enforcement. Illegal immigration is also deeply unfair to American workers and taxpayers, including millions and millions of hardworking legal immigrants. If you care about helping immigrants and care about their success, if you care about reducing poverty and raising living standards, then you must support a safe, strong, and very, very secure border. We need an immigration policy that helps all Americans thrive, flourish, prosper. We need an immigration policy that's going to be great for our corporations and our great companies. We need an immigration policy where people coming into our country can love our country and love our fellow citizens. And this includes shutting down sanctuary cities. We want to end catch and release. We catch them, we realize they're a criminal, and we have to release them. Think of this. They come onto our land, they put 1 foot on our land. We now have to take them through a massive court trial. Who does this? Other countries say, get the hell out of here. We have to take them through court. So we catch them. We talk to them. If they're criminals or if they're not, we release them. We say, come back for a hearing in front of a judge. You know how many judges you need to do this? We have 900,000 people backlogged. That's the good news. The bad news, nobody shows up. 3% of the people come back for a trial. It's insane. Not my fault, I inherited this mess, but we're fixing it. We have to end chain migration, and we have to cancel the visa lottery. Every American, no matter where they're born, will benefit from the creation of a lawful immigration system. It is such, you talk about an emergency. Our immigration system is so broken, folks. It's so broken. It's so sad to see. It's incompetent. It's laughed at all over the world. We have people pouring in from not just the southern border in Mexico, from China. They have a baby on our land. The baby becomes a citizen. Welcome to the United States for hopefully 90 years. Okay? And then the parents come in with the baby because the baby's a citizen. This is like crazy. They used to call it anchor babies, but they don't use that term anymore because it doesn't sound nice. Our laws are so crazy. One by one, we're finding ways. You know, they call them loopholes. A lot of our laws, loopholes. Well, I'm finding loopholes to get around the loophole. Because our Congress can't act. They can't act. They just can't. The Democrats in Congress don't want to touch any of it. Visa lottery. That's where they put in the names. They put it in a lottery. You pick, oh, here's a wonderful person, wonderful. You know, he killed 4 people. Here's and then they get in and we say, see, that person just came into our country. He just robbed a store and killed somebody. How is that possible? Because they send us the people they don't want. Biggest form of subsidy we give to other nations. Immigration systems that prioritize the admission of those who can support themselves financially and contribute. We want people that can help themselves, that can support themselves. We have people coming in. We support them from the day they come in till the day they die. We can't do that as a country. We can't afford to do that as a country. Sadly, on immigration and so many other issues, Democrat lawmakers have totally abandoned the American mainstream, but that's going to be good for us in 2020. They're embracing open borders, socialism, and extreme late-term abortion. Weeks ago, lawmakers in New York cheered as they passed legislation to allow babies to be ripped from the womb of their mother, right up to the very moment of death. Then, in an act and a statement, the likes of which I don't think I've ever heard. In Virginia, the governor, a Democrat, stated that he would allow babies to be born outside. He would wrap them. He would take care of them. And then he'll talk to the mother and the father as to what to be done. And if they didn't want the child, who is now outside of the womb, long outside of the womb, they will execute the baby.
I support that more than I could say. Even though I'm a man, that's very personal to me in my personal life.
They will execute the baby after birth. And that's one many people have never even heard of or thought about. This is a radical agenda by the Democrats. And when you put something up, as was just put up before the Senate, everybody on the Democrat side votes for it. By the way, I have to say one thing. They're lousy politicians, and they have lousy policy. They have policy I could never say if I wanted to. But, big but, they always stick together, and the Republicans don't. Remember that. Remember that. They always stick together. They vote in blocks. They have 47. We had a tremendous victory. We were given no credit. I can't go and campaign for all of the people in the House. Too many. And guys like Meadows wins by so many points, he doesn't need it. He doesn't need it. I said, Mark, you need any help? No, okay. He'll win by 30, 37. They're okay. These guys, you know the funny thing? The ones that love Trump, the ones that are really the Trumpers, like Meadows, Jordan, Gates, so many of them. I don't want to, I could just name them so many. They're the ones that win without, I mean, it's like they don't even have an election. It's the ones that they're a little shy about embracing what we're all about. They get clobbered. They get clobbered. Take a look. Those are the ones that get clobbered. But the good news is they're all starting to find that out. Just this week, Senate Democrats opposed legislation to prevent the killing of newborn infant children who survive abortions. Virtually every Democrat voted against protecting these precious babies. Everyone, they voted in groups. And we did have that great victory. We went from 51 and 2 that we didn't like got out. They said they retired. They didn't retire. They were retired. They said these 2 senators have decided to retire. No, they retired because they had like very little support, like how about 5% and 8%. No, we did great. We had 53. We picked up in the Senate. They were going to win the Senate, remember? And I'll tell you folks, I worked hard. I did 32 big fat rallies. And those rallies brought us to a tremendous Senate victory so that we can continue onward with our judges and our court. And the fake news back there, they love to say Donald Trump suffered a big defeat. First of all, we won the Senate, which frankly, judges never, hate to say it, in all due respect, for us, the Senate, far more important. I really worked on it. But think of it, we won the Senate, and we had this tremendous victory. We get no credit at all. Wait till you see what happens. They say Donald Trump suffered a humiliating defeat. I said I wasn't running. And one of the commentators that I appreciate on one of the shows where they were saying how I suffered a defeat, this commentator said, excuse me, he didn't run. Not all our candidates were exactly great, let's face it. You can only do so much. But wait till you see what's happening when I do run. And what they don't say is, Governor of Ohio, great guy, Mike was down 6, he won by 7, with 1 day, right? He was down by 6, 1 day into the election. I went out, I campaigned, worked hard, made a speech. Jim Jordan was there, everybody was there. It was a fantastic crowd, like this, and all the people in the other ballrooms that are waiting for him. And he ended up winning. He was down by 6, he won by 7. 1 day. Then we have Georgia, the governor of Georgia. Great guy. Where's Georgia? Great guy. He was losing in the primary by 10. I got a call from David Perdue and Sonny Perdue, 2 great guys. Could you endorse him? I said, let me check. And I checked him. He was a Trumper before Trump was a Trumper. And I said, I love this guy. He's down by 10. He won by 40. You believe that? I endorsed him, Mark. He won by 40. Then he had a tough race against the new star of the Democrat Party. Not Democratic. It's Democrat. We have to do it. It sounds pretty. When we use Democratic, I hate to say I speak the Democrat Party because it doesn't sound good. But that's all the more reason I use it. They should change it because it sounds much better. Rhetorically, it's much better. But then he had an election against their star, who followed me after the State of the Union address. I didn't think she was great. But she's their star. And who showed up? Oprah Winfrey, Michelle Obama, and President Obama. And they campaigned for her, and they worked so hard. And all our man had was Trump. And we kicked their ass. We had a rally at the airport where 55,000 people showed up to the airport. It was one hangar. They had 3 other hangars that were full. They went so far back. The problem was they gave the press, like these guys, they gave the press too good a location because the people behind them couldn't see them. They were so angry. But we had 55,000 people show up. I said, you're going to win the election. You won the election. You won it fairly easily against their star. And now David Perdue is going to win for senator in 2020. And then we had Florida and many others. And we have a candidate, Ron DeSantis, a friend of many of us in this room, but nobody knew he was running. He was running against the primary, somebody that was easily going to win. He was scheduled to be the next governor of Florida. But Ron's been great to me on the witch hunt. He's been a defender of me against these phony charges of Russia. Russia. My wife said, you never spoke to anybody from Russia, darling. I said, that's right. But Ron DeSantis, I like people that defend me. You know, when people defend me, I defend them. So he came. That's why I like Ron. That's why I like Ron. But I'm not sure a lot of people like him. He's tough. But I like him. I love him. But then we have Florida. So Ron DeSantis is at 3. He calls up, sir, can I have your endorsement? I said, Ron, you're at 3. Your opponent is, I guess, agriculture commissioner. Has 22 million in the bank. All numbers are very good. He's up in the 20s and 30s. I said, Ron, don't make me do this, Ron. Sir, I can win. All right, Ron. Here we go. Because I know if he loses, which almost never happens when you endorse him. Almost never. Only one time, that was because it was done in the middle of the day of the election. Nobody knew I did it. They got home, they said, I didn't know Trump endorsed him. But we rarely lose. But I said, Ron, don't do it. I said, all right, Ron, I'll do it. He went from 3 to 60. To 60. And then he ran against the guy who had unbelievable support. He had every celebrity going to Florida. He had money all over the place. And Ron was in there pitching, and I was in there pitching with him. And we now have a great governor in the state of Florida. And I can mention many others, other governors, many other states, but I'm not going to bore you with it. And I really think that it's incredible what we did in the midterms. I think it's incredible. Governor of Florida, Governor of Ohio. Remember, you can't win unless you win the state of Ohio. We got the governor. And he's great. Mike, we love him. As we defend American values at home, we are also defending American security abroad. We have secured all sorts of funding, all sorts of record everything. And we will never forget our military. We will never forget our veterans. We are taking care of our veterans like they've never been taken care of before. We just got them choice, so now they can go see a doctor. Now they can go and see a doctor instead of waiting online for weeks and weeks and weeks. And we got them accountability. You couldn't fire anybody in the VA. You had sadists. You had people that took advantage of our veterans. They hit them. They were sadists. They were sick people. You couldn't fire them. You had thieves that were stealing, openly stealing. You couldn't fire them. I got a bill passed. VA accountability. Now you look at the guy, you say, get the hell out of here. You're fired. Get out. For 40 years, they tried to get it. They couldn't get it. And VA choice, they thought, for many decades, they've been trying to get VA choice. You could get it. Now, instead of waiting online for 2 days, 9 days, 3 weeks, people were dying. People that weren't very sick would be dead by the time they saw a doctor 6 weeks later. Now, these great veterans, if there's a big wait, they go outside, they go to a local doctor, we pay the bills, they get better, everybody's happy, and we actually save a lot of money, if you can believe it. And I got that approved after 44 years of being unable to get it approved. For our veterans, we love our veterans. And just in finishing up, as you know, I just returned from Vietnam, where I had very productive meetings with Chairman Kim Jong-un. Very productive. We get along. We've developed a good relationship, very good, and made great historic progress. And I do get a kick out of all these people in previous administrations. Donald Trump should not, under any circumstances, be doing this and that. You know, they tell me how to negotiate. These guys died. One administration gave billions of dollars to him and got nothing. And we haven't given them anything yet. I look forward to maybe doing something at some point. But I know one thing I'm going to get other countries to give. Maybe not us, but I'm going to get other countries to give. And if it all works out, if it all works out. But I had to walk. Because every once in a while you have to walk. Because the deal wasn't a deal that was acceptable to me. I don't like these deals that politicians make. They make a deal just for the sake of doing it. I don't want to do that. I want to make a deal that either works or let's not make it. But the one thing we have is we have no testing, no missiles going up, no rockets going up, no nuclear testing. We got our great people, man. We got our great, great people. And that includes our beautiful, beautiful Otto Warmbier, whose parents I got to know, who's incredible. And I'm in such a horrible position because in one way, I have to negotiate. In the other way, I love Mr. and Mrs. Warmbier, and I love Otto. And it's a very, very delicate balance. He was a special young man, and to see what happened was so bad, was so bad. And a lot of what I do with respect to North Korea and any success that we hopefully have, and we've had a lot, we're given no credit. They don't remember that in the last days of the Obama administration, rockets were flying all over the place, nuclear testing was going on, mountains were being, these are big mountains, they were being shoved over 3-4 inches. People thought it was massive earthquakes, and they found out, no, that was nuclear weapons, nuclear testing. So much. We need the remains back of a lot of our soldiers for many, many years ago. My fences in Hawaii was one of those beautiful ceremonies. We made a lot of progress, and we'll continue to make progress. And I really think what we're doing there is very important. But we actually had a walk, but I think we had a very good meeting. In fact, when I came home, they put out a statement that actually they were willing to do much less on the sanction front. You see, that's not what happened there. So already I think we're negotiating. And I'll tell you this, North Korea has an incredible, brilliant economic future if they make a deal. But they don't have any economic future if they have nuclear weapons. It's really a bad thing for them. So we'll see how it all goes, but I think it's going well. I think we learned a lot over the last couple of days. And again, the relationship seems to be very, very strong. And that's an important thing, especially when we're dealing with this kind of a situation. For years you watched as your leaders apologize for America. You saw that? Would you like to apologize? No, I'm not apologizing. Now you have a president who is standing up for America after decades of building up foreign nations. We are finally building up our nation, and we are doing it with American hands, American grit, and with beautiful, beautiful American steel. We are fighting to ensure that every young American inherits the same blessings and the same boundless opportunity that our ancestors fought to secure with all of their heart, might, and soul. Now more than ever, we need the proud men and women of Cpac. And I want to thank everybody here because it is incredible. Your organization is incredible. Matt, Mercedes, incredible. You're energized, you mobilize, and you're engaged. We need your voice. We need your patriotism. We need your commitment. We need your incredible spirit. On the 4th of July, we are having in Washington, D.C., a great tribute to America. I hope you can all come. 4th of July, keep it open. We want to bring millions of people into the city, and we want people to come who love our country. Those are the people we want. The 4th of July. A salute to America. Now is the time to embrace the promise of our history. Now is the time to defend our American rights. And now is the time to seize our glorious destiny. And by the way, I'm watching those doors now. One person's left, and I've been up here a long time. I said, Matt, is that okay? I said, I love it. Don't leave. But not one person. So, you're here tomorrow. People, nobody left early. That's one person. When you read it, you just say, fake news. This magnificent nation will always be the home of those who cherish life, who love liberty, and who defend the sacred rights given to us by Almighty God. Together we are one people, one family, and one nation, forever united behind one great American flag.
I just did all.
Thank you to everybody. This room and to all of the other rooms all over the county and all over the country. We're hooked in all over the country. Thank you very much. I want to thank Cpac. What a job they've done. What a job Matt Schwab. His family have done in such a short period of time and bringing this to a level like it's never been before. God bless you. God bless the United States of America. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're live from our Cpac stage at Pepperdine University with Dr. Lonnie Chen, Stanford University, Representative Tom McClintock, and John Wood of Better Angels USA, and your moderator from Pepperdine University School of Public Policy, Dean Pete Peterson. School of Public Policy, Dean Pete Peterson. Hello, Cpac.
Okay. Oh, wait. Can you guys still see me? Can you guys see me? Oh, you can. Oh, wow. All right, good, good. So that's all I had to do. I'm hoping everyone. Did everyone leave? All right, let me set up my mic. All right. right. So does anybody know if I'll check? Unless anyone knows if Sean is on, because I don't want to. I didn't know that she had something going. I don't want to. I mean, my Fugle did me a big time favor. I mean, I made a couple of videos a long time ago, got like literally 6 subscribers and gave up, But I do, I am in school and, I have my associates. I'm going for my bachelor's now. And, it's easier to do because I go to school full time and then, I do have the baby, but I do get help. I had daycare and then on the weekends, my mother. But along with school, I work part time. I help veterans at risk, basically guys who it's usually through the court system, so they'll get in trouble, they'll catch a case, and a lot of veterans don't know that there's something called it's actually called the Valor Act, and basically what that is that is it's like a get out of jail free card. Let's say you mess up. It can't be anything too serious, but let's say, I don't know, I don't know, say you, I don't know, so any charge that's not too serious, you can get off of it right there. They give you one free, and that's it. Let's say you have PTSD, you're having some trouble, it's hard to find work, and at the same time, you're having the nightmares, you're not getting the help. The VA is telling, like it used to, you'd be waiting years to even see a doctor or get any assistance. And at the same time, you're broke because you can't it takes forever to get any financial assistance. You know, my, I told the stream last night that I'm on disability, but it's veteran disability, so it's different. On veteran disability, what they do is they give you a percentage. They found me to be only 10%, but it's still something, and it helps. 10%, to be 100%, usually you are wounded. Although some people do have PTSD to the point where it's 100%. But I'm still able to go to school and do my thing, and so I think that's fair. 10% disabled, and so I get that check, and basically that's how I support myself, and I also what I'm going to school for and what I interned for was sports broadcasting. That's actually my thing, and in Boston, I'm very well known as one a sports caller, and then I became a sports intern at like the number one show here in Boston. It's on 98.5, the Sports Hub. That's like the top radio station in Boston, not just for sports, like period of all the stations by far. That's number one. We're a big sports city. So and then of all the shows on that radio station, Felger and Maz, they're on from 2 p.m. to 6 p.m. I was interning there. And then after my internship, they kept me as an assistant producer. And then I actually got to go live on the radio um, once a weekend. And for instance, like on around Christmas, like when the main guys, when they would have their days off, I'd fill in for them. So everyone in Boston knows me as something else. I have a nickname. Well, they just kind of call me something else, but I'm not gonna say it here because they don't know I do this, and they'll probably find out eventually. But whatever. What I do in my free time is my free time. And right now, I'm basically like on an on-call basis with them. It's like, when one of the guys have time off coming up, they'll call me ahead, give me like a month heads up, and be like, "Hey, we need you for this whole week," and it pays well, but it's erratic, you know. So I had worked with veterans before, getting them resources, just like at a place where people go to get better. It's like a resource center. But no, I ended up getting hired by this woman who has this company that's in good with all the judges in Massachusetts. And if you're a veteran and you don't know about the Valor Act, we'll get the case dropped right there. If you've already used the Valor Act, then whatever. Usually it's drugs. That's the problem. But other times it's just trouble adjusting. I'm not just taking. My major is communications, but I also took classes like just even to help me with work and being a better father, like human growth and development, or child growth and development. And it's like all people there who want to work for DCF or daycare or like run a daycare. It's like I ended up getting like a certificate afterwards. So I could actually run a daycare with this thing, I guess. So, and I love the class. You learn a lot about kids and what helps them grow and what can stunt their growth and the importance of childhood. I mean, it just sticks with you forever. I always knew that, but to the extent that it actually really does, and it makes sense, after like you learn it and they kind of drive it home. Um, Kind of like going off, but this is just something important to me. Is children. I've always looked out for children and veterans, and so one of the big reasons was not only my daughter, but the guys that we would have come in that weren't on drugs. Usually it's drugs, but if it's not drugs, then they come in. It's usually they're having trouble adjusting, and even just the guys who are on drugs, they're having trouble adjusting too. It's just that's their way of adjusting, of course. But some guys, they just they don't do the drugs. They might do a little drinking, but maybe nothing too heavy. But they just having a hard time. A lot of times, military relationships do not work out. I was in one that didn't work out. Um, that was difficult. The divorce rate amongst veterans is astronomical compared to the rest of the population. So a lot of the times you don't even have custody of your kid. So you're just seeing them here and there. And now they haven't seen you for a whole year because you've been deployed in Afghanistan. So when they see the father, and let's say when they left, they were 2. So the kid knew them very well at that point. And they come back at 3, the kid doesn't even know them. So it's sad, but that's what happens. You know, um, People think of it like you put your life on the line. But I mean, once you die, you die, I mean, you're memorialized. But what's tough is when you have to walk around with the guilt of people dying and also having to come home. And the world doesn't stop just because you're over there. Females aren't always there's a lot of good females who stood by their men and were good wives or girlfriends, but a lot of the times that's not the case. Um, it just depends on the person. Um, and also, when there's a kid involved, what do you think happens? He loses his kid and he gets displayed as unstable. Um, People were starting to really show a lot of respect for our military. Like, I would say like 8 years ago, and they still do. People still are very respectful of veterans, but there's also a segment of the population who can't stand us. Um, it's the same segment who would hate Trump, but they don't like us, and that's just the way it is. And they are sometimes happy and make you look. I try to help out this one guy. I can't talk about his name or any particulars, but let's just say that they portrayed this guy like he was about to fly off at the handle and start going boom, boom, boom everywhere, if you know what I'm saying. in a crowded place. It's like that's how they portrayed this guy, and he came to us looking for help. He wasn't even mandated by court to do it, but then he stuck around because he was trying to get custody of his daughter. Well, he didn't, and it's because of how he was portrayed, because he was in the military, and because he was honest with people about his feelings and got a diagnosis. And so this lawyer literally ripped his life apart. I mean, he at that point he was over the woman. I mean, how could you love a woman like that again? But you still love your kid. You know, you leave, you have a happy family. Your baby's 2 years old. That's how old my baby is right now. I mean, and she's a daddy's girl. I could never imagine right now having to leave for a year and then I come back and she doesn't recognize me. And if I was with her mother, let's say, all of a sudden her mother is with someone else, and it's like you go to serve your country and you feel forgotten. You lose your kid, you lose your family, you lose everything. And he has to pay child support. It's unbelievable. I mean, he should help out, but she did him pretty dirty. I mean, she has some nerve. I don't know. I just that case in particular got me upset. So that's what I kind of do. I check in on the guys. I always kind of, you can tell we meet on Mondays and Wednesdays. That's when we meet, and then we have one-on-ones with each guy throughout the week. It doesn't have to be in the office. Sometimes I'll drive. I'll pick them up, bring them out for coffee. Just talk to them. Because I'm not there to screw them. At the beginning, they think you're part of the court and all that, and trust me, I'm like, listen, I showed them that I've been in trouble. I got in trouble with the law myself, almost lost my clearance. Um, so, anyways, I'm gonna put the phone number in chat, so in case there's anyone who wants to call in, and also I haven't been looking at chat, so let me Oh, am I still? Am I talking to myself? Hold on. Oh no, I'm not. Yeah, CJ. Thank you. And yeah, it is horrible. It's just wrong, especially a Marine. Yeah, that type of stuff does happen. I'm trying to see what I missed from you guys. So she just ended, CJ. A second, just gotta fix this. So she just finished her live stream. Well, that's good. Then I'm gonna share it. The only thing is I'm not part of the Facebook group because Moff had said that he doesn't even bother with it anymore, basically. So I didn't even bother ever becoming part of the Facebook group. And also, I need to post my email and my because I got the Red Pill News at yahoo.com, the Red Pill News, and I'm gonna make a Twitter with that. And then I got the Red Pill News at Proton Mail, and that's for any sensitive information. Anything you don't feel comfortable sending over Yahoo, you can send over Proton Mail. Um, so I have those all set up. Like I said, I ordered a mixer. Calls. I'm gonna put the phone number out for you guys in case anybody feels like calling in. Um, but wasn't that unbelievable, that speech? He was in rare form, right? I mean, I've seen him. He's all. I love the way he gives speeches. He's mastered the art of getting your point across, still coming off as presidential yet personable, and speaking to like the public. Like it feels like he's speaking to you, like, and you can tell he really cares. And you can't pull that off unless it's genuine. And I forget who mentioned it earlier. Someone said, he's most likely deep state. He always has been. And you know what? Yeah, he probably always has been kind of in that world. But you know what? When I see all the attacks on him, I just they are coming out with Trump with every trick in the book, using all of their resources. The media is their biggest resource, and because that the whole thing is swaying public opinion. If we ever woke up, I mean, we basically did, but if we really woke up, they would be hanging from nooses, all of them, because they've all done horrible things, and we know it. And like he said, even Trump said something like he basically kills people, but he didn't mean it as in you know death. He meant it as in emotionally, financially, just spiritually. That's how they kill people, and then they leave a shell, or at least not the same, and then you got to fight through that, and it kind of breaks you down and takes that fight out of you. You know, I mean, when we're young, we have that fight. After we live some life, especially going through hard times or whatever your situation is, it's easy to kind of have that knocked out of you. To kind of be beaten down, even if you're well off. It doesn't matter. Life still kicks your ass. And there's hold on one second. Hold on. Mom.
Oh, but you owe me too. What? How much did you take?
All right, are you taking her now?
Yeah.
All right, let me say goodbye to her. Let me say goodbye to the baby.
Find a sweater and stuff. You want to say goodbye to her already?
Yeah, real quick, because I'm doing a live stream.
Olivia! I'm going to regret this at the end of the month, taking things like this.
Yeah. All right.
I'm going to have halves, like, for the rest of the month.
So, like I was saying, it's just no matter what your situation is, it beats you down. And, I'm so paranoid about putting my baby on Facebook because of all the facial recognition and just the way things go. But
weirdos.
Yeah, weirdos.
Where are you talking about?
So I'm on a live stream. Come here, baby. Come, Dada. Come here.
Want to say bye?
Come here. Here's my baby girl. Here's my wife. This is my baby girl. Say hi. Hi. Hi.
I think she's
Yeah, she can see herself.
I know.
Hi.
People can see her. Like,
No, she doesn't know.
Just say hi.
Kiss. Oh, you being shy? I think she understands. She's looking at herself. She's fixing her hair. Yeah. All right. Thank you.
Give her a kiss, damn.
She won't kiss me.
She will.
She won't do it on camera. Yeah.
Give that a kiss bye-bye. Kiss bye-bye, and we'll come back and you'll be with you for a little bit. A little bit. Once.
All right, so I love you, baby. Sorry, guys. Oh, thank you.
Is it a secret that you
Oh, I just don't want to camera too much. I was in the middle of something.
why is everything not?
All right. See all the buttons now. Okay, baby.
Yeah, Olivia, let's go. I'm gonna get your milk and the rest of the food. I'm just gonna make chicken parm tonight. I'm gonna get some broccoli and stuff.
All right.
Just because I know it's the only thing I know how to make 100%. And even that's a little wonky. Instead of like buying garbage.
I put the phone number in chat. Remember earlier. Who was it earlier?
talking to you, or no helping with Olivia, because now you're gonna be live streaming for life. Have fun. Back to the same shit. No surprise. Like, seriously, it's already good.
This is embarrassing.
And guess what? You'll get you. I would watch myself if I were you.
You're embarrassing.
Nobody can hear me though. It's
Yeah,
you.
of course they can hear you. It's embarrassing. Just leave me alone.
They can't hear.
Leave me alone. Thank you, but just leave me alone. I'm sorry she gets like that. It's embarrassing, but I'm not gonna talk about it. She doesn't even understand anything about technology. She doesn't understand like people listening. You guys don't understand that crap. All right, so yeah, I'm probably showing too much. I just wanted you guys to see my daughter, and I got my mother's bickering. It's just annoying. Like they're not even leaving yet. They're not even leaving for the night yet. She's gonna hang out a little longer, but she's sleeping at her house. She lives like north of Boston. She's like 25 minutes away. It's called Billerica, but that doesn't really say anything because she changed her last name, so there's no way anyone could dox that. That's not doxing anything. But did I put the phone number? Wasn't there somebody earlier that said they couldn't get through one time and there's something that they wanted to share? Please feel free. Yeah, I know. I just kind of feel bad because I'm doing this, and at the same time, I don't feel bad because like I'm with her 24/7. Well, not 24/7, but you know what I mean. Like every single day, and it's just me. And on Saturdays, my mother comes and gets her and has her over Saturday night, Sunday morning, drops her off Sunday afternoon. So that's kind of the schedule. So I spend a lot of time with my daughter. I know she is. She's beautiful. I'm so lucky. Her mother is actually half, half. I'm sorry, half African American, half Portuguese. This microphone. She's half African American, half Portuguese. I'm half Portuguese, half Irish. You guys probably thought Italian, maybe. Everyone thinks Italian, but no, I'm half Portuguese and half Irish. If you guys can hear me. So that would make her half. So she's also half my baby, Olivia. I'll just say that. It's the number one most common baby name. She's half Portuguese, quarter Irish, and quarter black. African American, whatever. But yeah, she's gorgeous. You can't even the people like don't even believe it. They're like, "What? She's a quarter African American." I'm like, "Yeah," because you can't tell because she has the blue eyes and everything. I mean, my brothers, we don't have blue eyes. None of us. We're all dark hair, dark eyes. But I can't deny her. She has all my features: the chin, the mouth, like my baby picture is exactly like hers. She just happened to get the blue eyes from my Irish side. But yeah, if anyone wants to call in, please do. If not, we can go over some current events. I want to see how many people are here. Um, because the way that I'm broadcasting right now isn't the way I normally do it. This is basically just after the speech, so it's a little bit different. Let's see. There's only 5 people here. But I appreciate all 5 of you. So, um, you want my job? I don't know. Which job? The veterans or the or what? Sports? That's the one. My career. Hopefully, it's going to be sports. Sports radio, sports writing, something like that. Oh, what happened here? Am I still with you? Oh, no, I think I got disconnected. Nope, I'm here. So, why? Which job? What are you talking about, CJ? Oh, I get it. Yeah, yeah. I saw Master K. Yeah, I know. That's pretty cool at work. You can just chill like that. If you don't mind me asking, what do you do, Master K? I'm trying to think. Yeah, okay. All right. Now that I'm starting to get the hang of this, I know you can't see me right now, you can, but I have to. Maybe I can search like this. Okay, so I just want to show you guys something. This is part of what I'm doing a video on, but just the fact that you guys stuck around, I want to show you guys this. I told a couple of you to Google it. I even said it on my Google. But I'll be honest. When I listen to the show, say like, "Oh, look this up," and there might be out of all the callers, there might be 2 callers that get me to lift my lazy hands and actually look up what they're talking about. I just basically take their word, or if Marth looks it up. If he doesn't look it up, then that's it. It has to really catch my attention and come off as something that's very interesting. So what I wanted to show you guys is the Smith-Mundt Act, signed in by Obama in 2013, I'm pretty sure. And so well, here it is right here. I wonder if the you guys, this is gonna blow your minds. Okay. This because that affected me directly as far as what I did in the Navy. All right, so I'm screen sharing. So hopefully you guys can you guys see the Wikipedia page I have up? Just even just type Y, the letter Y for yes. Okay, so check this out. A lot of people don't know this. I've learned that. I mean, I knew about it right away, but that's only because I ever since I got out of the military, I realized how much we lied to. So when something shady like this is passed, I rarely read into it at the time, and a lot of people don't know about it. But the U.S. Information Educational Exchange Act of 1948, popularly called the Smith-Mundt Act, is the basic legislative authorization for propaganda activities conducted by the Department of State called public diplomacy. That's how they pretty it up. Way back in 1948, after World War II, they came out with this because World War II propaganda was a huge part of it. Like Japan was very effective with their propaganda. They would try to kill our morale. The Marines that were on those islands, they were fighting the fight of their lives, obviously, but just, I mean, it was hell on earth. I mean, we're talking just volcanic ash, like Iwo Jima, or just every single island that we had to hop. I mean, that's why we eventually dropped the bomb, of course. It was just what they had to go through in those fights. And then not just them, but the Navy. I mean, when your ship goes down, you're either drowning, getting burned to death, burned by oil, getting blown up, getting shot. But if you're getting shot from another Navy ship, I mean, it's not good. You're not living. It's going to be a horrible death. So, a lot of ships went down, and it can get demoralizing. Especially when at the beginning we weren't really winning until midway. Um, so what they would do is, she ended up, I forget if they hung her or she just went to jail for life. They might have hung her. But Tokyo Rose, I think they would broadcast a radio show, and she would talk to the Americans and talk about their wives back home and talk about how they're just gonna come and die, and like explaining death, and like really messing with people's heads. And they caught on to it, and basically there's many reasons, but that's what comes to my mind is stuff like that. But uh, that's not even more so, that's like a tactic of war. I mean, propaganda is what we see every day, and it was going on back then a lot. So they passed this law, and basically this law didn't condemn it, it allowed it. It allowed propaganda for the purpose of public diplomacy. Now, with other countries, you have diplomats and diplomacy with other countries. You do that to improve relations with other countries because they have their interests and we have ours. So we send diplomats, they have diplomats, and they try to work out the rough edges so that, we can have peace and maybe even be allies. Well, apparently, that's what they think they should be doing with the American public. And you know what? This video will get taken down. I guarantee you. And it won't be because of the Trump speech. It'll be because of this. They don't like this out there. So, I mean, it's here for everyone to see because, we still have a system in place. Like there's certain laws and there's the Freedom of Information Act. It's just a matter of well, propaganda. Propaganda is another way of getting people to look the other way. Everyone's looking at their phones, but looking at the wrong thing. There's a bunch of conspiracy theories out there, but 90% of them are just batshit crazy. So, anyways, so that was actually signed. So, okay. The act was first introduced by Carl E. Mont in January 5. It was subsequently passed by the 80th Congress and signed into law. So basically, what they did back then is they ended it. They ended the um, propaganda activities, and they used to call it public diplomacy. So they ended that, which is a good thing. Harry S. Truman. That's a good thing. We're not Russia. We're not supposed to, we're not North Korea. We're not supposed to give all kinds of fake information to our people, keep them in the dark, and just basically deceive them about everything in their lives. And it's just, it's wrong. That's not being free. That's not a free nation. That's a government taking it into their hands to purposely deceive you or steer you in which direction they want. As long as you're a consumer, that's all we're good for as consumers. No one, there's not good work out there. They talk about the job numbers, but I don't know, maybe it's different in other places. Around here, there's work available, but I gotta plug this in.